If you want to see how I planted this video, stick around. Okay, today, part 2 of this video, I'm going to be planting this tank with all different types of grass, like longer grass. This is Alecaris montavidensis, and I have some Parvula, Arcicularis, and I have some Blixa I might put in there. I'm not totally sure yet. I'll see where I can get with these. I'll add that in if I have space. If not, I'll put that in a different tank. Okay, first things first, I separated all these to where they're supposed to go. Like I have the smaller grasses in the foreground, the Aleocaris in the midground, and then the tall grass that's in the back. So I don't want to mix these up because a lot of them look similar. So I'll get all the Pusilla. I have 1, 2, oh that's a long one. There's 3 and 4. I believe that's all I have of that one. And that's the long grass. Yes, okay. To prep them, it's gonna be hard. I only have a little bit of substrate here, but it should be fine. Let's just put this aside. Take it out. I got a bucket of water here. Dip. The way I do it, you can see a ring. You just rip it and just peel around the whole outside. Now I have this long strip. Take my tweezers, take a chunk, rip it off, and just plant. Rip a chunk, plant. And just repeat over and over. Usually a piece is about 1 centimeter wide. A chunk is good. You don't want anything too big. In the foreground, sometimes I like to do a little bit smaller so it spreads more naturally. It doesn't look like big tufts full of grass. Foreground's going to be difficult. It's very shallow. It's always better to plant really heavy. You have less chances of getting algae. Very good chance of still getting algae, but you'll have less. The plants will be using up the nutrients in the water. And this is the rest of the roll, or the centerpiece. You can just rip off chunks. Planting deep will keep your plants from floating up. It makes a big difference. Normally, just to make sure I have enough plants, I'll space them apart a little extra, and then as I get through all of it, like the last pot or so, I'll start filling in the gaps because I know I'll have enough. That's 1 pot done. Dip it in some water, get rid of that liquid it comes in. Tear around the whole outside. Nice long strip of grass. Still uncertain what kind of fish I want in this tank. I know after the plants root, I want a few hill stream loaches. I'm still on the fence about the type of, if I want tetras, if I want like some type of danio or mountain cloud minnows. Always want to stick with the shorter grass up front. A lot of this Sicularis I want back here, and then just a little bit of the tall grass in that back corner, and then surrounded by the Sicularis again. Just 2 pots down. Nice and healthy. All these plants were supplied by Planet Aquaria. They've been helping me out with planting all my tanks for a while now. So shout out to them, making this a lot easier on my pockets. And I get to showcase some really beautiful plants. Sometimes if it's very shallow, I'll just stuff some gravel next to the plant to wedge it in. Or you can plant it and sprinkle a little bit more substrate over it if you're worried it's going to float, which I am worried in this front area. So I only have about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of substrate there. I'm going to need some more. I'll sprinkle a little bit more here in the front and in the center. This is a very healthy portion of plants I'm getting in here first shot. So I do have a lot of hardscaping here, so there's not much space to plant in between, but it works. I know in the last video I kind of missed the root tabs, but off camera I stuck in some root tabs into the substrate. Let's see where I'm gonna plant this. I think I'll stuff this area right here, see how it grows here. It's not gonna be much light there because I'm getting a big shadow from this main stone. But if it grows, it'll be a little lighter there. Maybe I'll stick some Anubias inside there. Down to the last pot of the Brucilla. Let's move to the other side so I can get some here. I'll move this one out of the way. I like to just hold the plant straight, like this between my fingers. Grab with the tweezers, makes it very easy. Just seeing this really softens up the hardscape. Everything blends in so nice. You can see I'm gonna have more than enough grass of each type, so I can plant nice and heavy. The only space I'm missing is right here in the front corner. So let me sprinkle a little extra sand here. I want a little bit more in that center to slope up. Helps fill in the gaps with the water flow. Everything will straighten out, fill in all the gaps. That should be good. think I'll let the tank run for about a week or so before I get fish. Just so the plants have time to root. Let's see, where am I gonna put this? I don't need fish or shrimp uprooting all my plants. By the looks of it, I don't think I'm gonna need that Blixa in this tank. I'll put it into the tank on the right of me. I have a couple plants I want to change in that tank. I'll move it there. So the next plant will be, or do I still have another pot? Oh, this is the Eleucharis. Okay. This is the Eleucharis. This is more like a medium type of grass. It'll grow like 4 or 5 inches or so, as long as you let it. See, like if you unpot all of these, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, and then you would have the tall grass in the front, have everything mixed up, and that's not what you want. Now I can get rid of these pots out of here so I can get ready to plant. I have 4 pots of this. Always plant nice and deep. There's never an issue with plants floating up when you fill the tank. I've had my few bad experiences of a bunch of plants just floating once I add water. Don't like that happening anymore. Some people like the plant wet the substrate. Some people like it dry. Some people like to add water already or add some water. It's all personal preference. I can do either, but I don't know, I find planting dry is easy, at least for me. Can't wait for a few weeks to go by. These plants to start filling in. Have a nice lush carpet. I normally have some trouble with actually dwarf hairgrass. For some reason, for full carpets, I tend to get a lot of algae in there. But I think it's my mistake. I don't fertilize it properly, and then it's too late. think this right side is already pretty good. Now we can start spreading this on the left. Come to the last pot of the Eliocaris. Move these out of the way. It's good to leave those pots in there as like a planting guide. Now it's from ADA, this plant. Not a lot comes inside these pots, so I'll plant this a little thinner. Be a little more careful with this. Because this, when it's happy, it'll get like 12 to 16 inches long, depending on the tank. Lighting, fertilizer always plays a factor on the height of your plants. It didn't look like there was a lot in this pot, but it's a pretty decent amount. It's enough for what I need. I was debating on making this tank a high flow tank with the wave maker. I think it'll be a little too much for a 60p. But I have the wave maker, so I might just throw that on a saltwater tank. I could always use more flow. There's never enough flow. And that's that. The last portion of plants. The Blixa is not coming in here. Get you a nice close up. I do have a Nubius here. I think I'm gonna stick it under that main stone in that dark area. This is this potted Nubius Nana Petite. See, Nubius Nana Petite, a couple pots of this. Let's take off all this rock wool. See, nice little plant. I think that one's enough. Maybe I'll stick the second one still. The second one looks a little smaller anyway. And stuff that next to it. Just in case, I'll stuff a rock in there, hold it in. There you go. That's a nice little different color, that nice dark green from the Nubius. Add some details under that rock. The trick to filling up tank nice and clear. Right here, paper towels. Just drop paper towels down. Cover everything. Might as well just finish this roll on here. Use my tap water for everything here. Usually top off with RO. Show you how clear this is when you use that paper towel trick. Here's the paper towel, everything crystal clear. It's like it's been filled for so long. Got a couple random little strands floating, but nothing too bad. It's time to move the filter on it, which will be this little AC 50 that I got sent from Fuvel. And this tank will have some pressurized CO2 running. Let's get that filter moved over. Now just add doses of some prime. It goes a little extra the first time. Remember, this substrate's not full of nutrients, so I don't have a lot of ammonia in here. Fill up the filter, start it off. Plug her in. There you go. Get the lid back on. It's already later in the day, so I'm not gonna run the CO2 today. I'll start that off tomorrow in the morning, so it has a full day. There it is. Flow goes from left to right, kind of like a river stream, and like that I can have the grass kind of flow this way. Water kind of circulates and goes around this way. All right, let me know what you think about it. Got a little bit of that ripple action going. Looks pretty cool. All right, thanks for watching.